Today, I'm excited to have our very first spiritual life coach on the show. This man has an amazing story where from afar and the outside, it seemed like he was living the dream life. Owning bars and nightclubs all across Melbourne, holding parties and events that no young 18 to 35-year-old ever wanted to miss out on, and was the envy of many. Plenty of friends, unlimited drink cards, rubbing shoulders with all the sports stars and celebrities, and becoming wealthy along the way, to eventually walking away from it all, finding his true identity and as a spiritual life coach. Please welcome Adam Edwards.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me, buddy. And I tell you, man, you just brought back a whole bunch of memories.
Mate, great memories, I'm sure.
Well, good and bad, funnily enough.
Yeah. Well, mate, you've got an incredible story. I met you, probably maybe 12, 15 years ago, which is probably showing our age.
Beach Hotel, Ocean Blue.
Oh, mate, those were the days, weren't they?
Probably those days.
They were great days. And, mate, you were the main man. You're in the scene. You're at all the hot spots, the bars and clubs in Melbourne. Can you take me back there and tell me how it all started for you?
Wow. Just haven't even thought about that for a long time yet. Oh, you know what? I'm just trying to think back. Yeah, I remember I finished school. I was doing a degree in architecture, didn't finish it, moved into illustration, didn't finish it. And then I remember, that's right, this is how it all happened. Nick Russian.
Yep.
Actually started with Nick Russian. It started at Chasers. Anyway, I'll go back again. Sorry, it started so many places. I was working at Telstra, right? In a job that was just, I hated it. It was customer service. It was kind of good money, and I was working long weekends and making extra money, and I was able to save enough money to go overseas. I actually did it to save up to go overseas.
Right.
And then Nick Russian, I don't know where I met him, but I think it was one of the bars somewhere along the way. He just goes, "Hey, do you want to buy a bar together?" I was like, I don't know. Yep. Yeah, why not? And he goes, "Well, if you can get some money together, me and four of my mates, him and his brother and two other guys and me, are starting a bar called Aqua Bar." Right. And I said, okay. So he goes, get some money together, and I got some money together and gave it to him, and next thing you know, I was an owner of a bar.
Wow. How old were you?
I was probably 28, 29.
Right.
Maybe younger.
Fairly young, yeah.
Yeah, I think Nick would have been, he probably would have been 21. He'd just come off Temptation Island.
Right.
Okay. And and it was the first time anyone like that sort of became famous after a reality TV show. That reality TV show back then was just, it was new, and he was sort of popular straight away. And we come off TV, everyone recognised him, pardon me. And then he goes, let's buy a bar. And so 587 St Kilda Road, Aqua Bar was born, and I found myself becoming a promoter.
Right.
That's kind of how it started.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I was sort of, I guess, before, Facebook and Instagram, I was literally ringing people up. So I would message, no texting. Sorry, there's no texting. I would ring people up just from phone numbers that I had, and say, hey,
come down to the bar.
It was really hard work. I remember because during that time, because that's where I was working at, what's called a place on King Street. I was working at Telstra.
Yep.
This is how it happened. I was working at Telstra. I was making a wage. I started promoting, and this is how Nick found me, by the way. That's right. I started promoting, and I was making more money one night a week on a Friday night promoting a bar than I was at my wage when I was doing 45, 50 hours a week. So that's when Nick goes, you want to come? I went, I don't want to do this.
It's a no-brainer, really, for you.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do either. So a bar seemed like fun. It seemed like it would be a good idea. And then he goes, what did he say? He goes, I was trying to remember what he said. Yeah, so that's right. So I decided that I would resign Telstra and go into the bars.
Full-time.
Yeah. Full-time.
Wow.
And, oh man, that's where it started.
Yeah, wow.
Right there. Wow. I'm just getting so much information.
Yeah, obviously, it was a great time for you because, I assume, like we often,
awesome at the start.
As we said, like even just before we started here, you would have a conversation with so many people, and it would only be 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and that's it. Did you find yourself, when you had so much attention at these bars, and look, we all had the best fun ever. Yeah, did you ever feel the need to be someone else or show up each time at this bar or club and be an upbeat Adam Edwards, or did you stay true to who you were still then?
Yes, I had to show up as my happy self. I was the face of the business always. So it was exhausting. It was really fun at the start.
Yeah.
I've got to say, the first 5 years, Ocean Blue, Beach Hotel, around Barclay, when I started running Barclay.
Yeah, I remember that. St
When I
Kilda.
started running Barclay, I started getting heavy. But, I mean, it was exhausting.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was exhausting until I realised it got exhausting.
Yeah.
Because it was just drinking. So, and we'll talk about values later. Like values, my highest value, I didn't know what my highest value was, but my highest value was health.
Right.
So I train every week, go to the gym and stuff, but I was destroying myself on the weekend. Alcohol, drugs, partying, everything was free.
Yeah.
Free alcohol, free everything. Always, it's kind of like, it's exciting for a young guy. It's like, you're popular and I mean, from the ego point of view, it was fantastic.
And it was working for you as well, wasn't it?
Oh, look, yeah, I mean, I love people, so it was pretty easy, but I did have to, I wouldn't say someone else, I was always being myself, but I had to drink. I had to drink so I could be on that level.
Really? Yeah, okay.
Because often it would happen, and this recently when I left a couple of years ago when I sold out of the clubs and moved towards coaching, I found myself someone would get there at 9. Say you rocked up at 9. Say you're a really bad drunk.
Yeah.
You don't know who's the bad drunk, by the way.
Yeah.
So you get there at 9 o'clock. By 11, you're more friendly. Hey, how you going, ads? By 12:30, you're a different person. That's what happened. Usually by 1 o'clock, different people come back to me and hugging me and like all over. And it's like, oh my God, it was heavy energy.
Yeah.
And really, really took it out of me. So I did have to I had to drink to be that. Long term, I had to drink to stay like on point.
So what if...
and there's so much to that, by the way.
Yeah. So what if you're looking back now, and we'll get to how your life changed, but looking back now and reflecting on it, I'm sure you already have, but how do you feel now knowing that alcohol and drugs and everything else like that was almost your calm way for you to calm down and enjoy the night?
They're not the answer.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, I could have drank less. It's hard because you rock up. I've got 500 people now I'm talking to. Everyone wants to have a drink with the owner.
Yeah.
So you can't get away with under 30, 40 drinks. Even though you might sip one and put them down, you're getting away with about 30.
Yeah, that's a big night, isn't it?
But not even being drunk.
Yeah.
So I got so used to it that I could drink and...
it wouldn't affect you. Really.
And then, of course, you add in drugs.
Yeah.
So, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're pretty exhausted. You're kind of heavy. You do, someone's got something and, never to pay for it. Someone will go, hey, do you want to come? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like that, I'm not ashamed to say it because it was part of the industry.
No, and it's a big learning, hasn't it?
Huge.
So, mate, let's do that then. Let's fast forward. It was almost 4 years ago now in Bali, I believe.
Yeah.
You met a guy named Carl Massey. Can you explain how that came about for me and how the transition out of the nightclub and bar scene in Melbourne?
He changed my life. I owe a lot to that man. We're still very good friends, and I still run his program through my coaching. So I use his program through my coaching.
Right.
So alcohol, partying, got to the point where I was so exhausted. I used to hear every night, I don't know how you do this, Adam, all the time. How do you do this? I'm like, I didn't know how I did it. And so twice a year, so rather than having 4 weeks off a year, I used to take 8 weeks off. So it was known with my partners, Ads is taking 8 weeks off.
Yep.
Because he needs 8 weeks to recover.
Yep.
And so I'd go away for 4 weeks at a time, twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year, 3 weeks. Whatever it was, I just made it up as I was going, but I needed to get away.
And Bali was your sanctuary, wasn't it?
Bali was always, for me, where I found peace. But it took me, and I call it the breath. It would take me the day I got to Bali, it took me 10 days before I breathed.
Wow.
So it was 10 days of unwinding, madness, like millions of conversations, heaps of drama, just getting it all down to the point where I'd go, my wife would go, oh, you're back. My wife would say to me, oh, you're back. So she really enjoyed that point. But one particular time, 4 years ago, I was in Bali and I remember I was doing the same thing. I had 40 tabs open on my computer. I was just taking in so much information. Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, Alan Watts, like Oprah, just 40 minutes, 50 minutes, like
Even that's
6 hours a day,
cluttered, isn't it? Like,
extra information, right? I was just literally just looking for the answer because I was miserable. The first 5 years of the bars were great. Second 5 years, a bit heavier. Third 5 years, it really started to hurt. And the last 5 years was devastating because I was exhausted. I didn't know how to get out. Anyway, so my escape was Bali. So I get to Bali, all these tabs open. Mind you, I was at a place too that I put on weight. During this period of time, drinking and partying, and Uber Eats 4 or 5 times a day,
as you would,
right in my flat in Richmond, and I was like, I was that's right. So I got to Bali.
You're sitting at your computer.
Sitting at my computer, that's right, and then I was just so much going on in this space for me. Yeah, so my wife goes, "Why don't we?" Because she goes, "You're going crazy." She said, "You're going nuts. You're all over the place." Because what was happening, I'd get to Bali, I put on 10 kilo over that period of time, and I'd lose the 10 kilo in 4 weeks, every time. So talk about yo-yo, I'd go there and say, 2 hours in the morning, off I went. Single on backpack on, heavy backpack, I'd just boot it for 2 hours, sweat my ass off, 4 or 5 waters, come back, go to the gym, train for an hour, and nighttime go again. Wow. On top of that, what I was doing to do that, in Bali, you can get ephedra for free. Ephedra, you can buy ephedra, it's illegal in Australia. It's like speed.
Right.
So I'll bomb one of those in the morning. Off I'd go. Afternoon, bang again, go again. And mid-afternoons, so I could still sleep. And I'll take that, and then I'll just go. While I was reading and studying, and it was like, "You're going crazy." And I was. I was thinking fast. I was speaking fast. I was just lost. So she goes, "Turn off your computer." She was pretty adamant about it. She goes, "You're taking 3 days off." I was like, "Okay," like, and so I shut down everything, but I left one of the tabs open because I thought, I don't want to lose my spot here.
Sometimes you do.
And I hadn't listened to that one in particular. Anyway, so funny. We go away for 3 days, no caffeine, eating healthy. And I remember that's when I had that breath again. I got back to the villa, and sort of sneakily went over to my computer. I'm just going to check my computer, Em. And I jumped on. And there was this one tab. I opened it, and it said, "Your beliefs. This changed my life. This moment. Your beliefs are controlling your life." I went, play. 5 minutes in, and I said to Em, I said, can you come over here? Listen to this. So we waited it, played it again. 26-minute video, your beliefs are controlling your life. Whatever was said in that video, or maybe I'll post it after this podcast, but the information that he posted in that video was Carl Massey, and I went, oh my God, my beliefs are controlling my life. What does it even mean? But I got what he was saying. He was talking about the subconscious mind. He was talking about the first 0 to 7 years. But everything everything you learn becomes your belief.
Yeah.
Your environment. Whatever mum and dad said to you, if dad or mum said, "You stupid little kid," then that can become a belief. And if you're thinking that, you're coming from that place your whole life. This is why there's so many problems, because people are coming from a place of bad beliefs.
Wow.
Okay, keep the good ones, but there's a whole bunch of bad ones. If you're at school and you get teased or you're bullied, you're watching a horror movie and you get scared, all these things can cause you to have a belief about something, right? Oh. So Rumi's famous quote, it's powerful. "Give me a child to the age of 7 and I'll show you the man."
Wow.
Powerful, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And that's a huge basis of my coaching. Anyway, so I saw Carl Massey, Aussie voice, and I've gone, okay, well, I jumped on his website, and there he was, ex-army major. I thought, that's what I need. An army major to
kick you in the gear.
Because I came from a childhood where anything goes. Mum and dad divorced when I was in the months. Moved house, we moved 15 times before I was 20. So I'm different school every year, different house, different school, different house, different school, and all over the place. No structure, no strategy. There it was, Carl Massey, master strategist, master life coach. I've got to speak to this guy.
Yeah.
My wife goes, "Why don't you email him?" I was in Bali. "Hey Carl, it's Adam. Interested in maybe some coaching?" And he wrote back that night, 11 p.m. "Hi Adam, I live in Bali." I was like, is this for synchronicity?
Joking.
Because when you ask the question hard enough, when you look hard enough, when you want to change, you manifest it. I was already doing all the work trying to find the answers, but even though it was all clutter, it came when I got a moment of stillness, and there it was. I said, "Hey Carl, any chance we can catch up?" He goes, "Is it Sunday? I'll meet you on Thursday. no alcohol, no caffeine, no sugar. I want you clear and calm when I meet you. So I go to he owned a place called The Practice in Bali, a yoga studio. It was beautiful. I go upstairs and there he is sitting like a little Buddha. He's sitting there like a little Buddha. He looks up at me. Mind you, I wasn't very calm at that time. I was very much all over the place. Mr. Calm, little Buddha, like perfectly still Buddha. And he goes, gets up, he goes, how you going? It's the first time anyone's ever looked at me and went straight through my eyes, looked through me. Because what had happened prior to him seeing me, he asked me to fill out some details, some 2 documents, which I send to all my clients now, funny enough. So I teach everything he taught me, I pass it.
You're passing on.
And so these 2 documents, what level are you, what level are you, and what, and 2 documents. Anyway, so he said, let's go for a walk. So first of all, he looked through me and I was like, wow, this guy's on to me. And he goes, let's go for a walk. So we walked around this yoga studio, and this is the moment, I guess, probably changed my life the most. It's the moment I realised he had to coach me. So I had coaches before him.
Okay.
And there were 2 coaches before him, and one was really good, but I wasn't ready for it. The one before that was not much chop.
Yeah.
But he rocked up, and anyway, so we walked around, and he goes, okay, so question number 23, for example, I can't remember what it was, but he goes, is that true? I said, yeah, it's true. He goes, how's it true? I went, it was very embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because I knew it wasn't true, but I knew he knew.
Right. What was the question?
Something about the bars.
Right.
Something. And he did it 3 or 4 times.
So you're trying to protect yourself.
Yeah,
basically.
100%. So, and he said, listen, if that's the way we're going to do it, we're done. I said, oh, what do you mean? He goes, if you're going to lie to me, we're done. I go, I couldn't compute it. I hadn't been called out. I was always the boss, always running the bars, always the person people look to. But here is this guy, 14 years in the army, a major in the army, master strategist. He was on to me.
He was.
On to me. He walked around again. He goes, tell me about that. And he goes, I answered it again. I can't remember what the questions were, sorry. But I answered it. He goes, is that true? I said, no, it's not true. So I started realising then, who am I?
Yeah. So at this point, you were completely lost. You were, you didn't know where you were. You didn't know what your next step in life was. Was it would you call it a depression stage at all, or did you go through any anxiety?
I went through depression earlier.
Right.
Depression when I was 25.
Okay.
That's a good story too. A depression story. Well, once again, bad breakup. And we'll go back to Carl in a second, but the quick story of the depression, and this is what led me to go down the road of personal development.
Right.
So I had a friend who ended up becoming my mentor at this particular junction. He came around one day and he said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Nothing." He goes, "I was on antidepressants." And if anyone knows anything about antidepressants, they make you feel good, but you certainly don't look good. You feel, it's an artificial feeling of feeling good inside, although it's not a very nice feeling. I call it the black cloud days. For me, there was like a constant black cloud just hovering over, no real light. Anyway, he said, "Come up to the house, bring your phone." And went up to the house and he goes, "This is really powerful." And it's funny because the same thing happened with the car, happened then, but I didn't see the signs then. This is 15 years earlier.
Right.
So my friend Steve goes, "Let's have a seat." He goes, "Okay, stand up." He goes, "Who are you?" I went, "My name's Adam. I'm a good guy." He goes, No, sit down. I go, "Okay, what do you want me to do?" He goes, "Okay, go." He goes, "Who are you, Ads?" I said, "I'm 27, I'm a really nice person, I've got great friends and good family." He goes, No, sit down. I go, "What the F do you want me to do?" He goes, "Okay." And he started getting serious, born again Christian guy. Get up again, he started getting a bit more firm with me. I was like, "What's going on here?" And he goes, "Okay, get up again." He goes, "So, who are you, Ads?" I go, like that. I'm a friend of Steve's.
Didn't know what to say.
Went to school and got lost. He goes, "Sit down." He started yelling at me. He actually said the F word, which is something I'd never heard from him before. He goes, "Get up. Who are you?" I went, I started crying. I bawled my eyes out. And he goes, "It's cool, man. It's all right. We're just getting to the base point." And he goes, "What's the answer?" I said, "I don't know who I am." He goes, "I don't know, man. It's all right. We'll work on it." And so he became my mentor then. But soon after that, I bought nightclubs.
Wow.
So I was on the path then. So this coaching path, he was like, you should be a coach. You got a great experience and had a tough childhood. You should move into coaching. You always said that about me, but I was so miserable at Telstra, I needed to find something else as well.
Yeah, you wanted another outlet.
Didn't even think about coaching at the time.
So, mate, thanks for that. That's a great insight, mate. And it's funny that it happened, as a 25-year-old, and then twice for you, wasn't it?
25 and 45.
Yeah, wow.
42.
So, mate, you mentioned you felt lost. You're lonely. You went through this depression. What advice would you give to those people out there who are feeling lost at the moment and don't know what direction they should take in life? What do you do as a life coach there, and what advice can you give them?
Know thyself. I think it's Epicurus, or it might be Socrates. Know thyself. It's huge. It's hard to explain what that means, but knowing thyself means getting to know yourself. Because if you don't know who you are, once again, back to the beliefs. If you're this person up to the age of 7, you've built a whole series of beliefs you're not even aware of. They're subconscious, right? And you move forward, and you come from a place of lack. So you had no money when you were younger. If you don't believe that you can make money, if it's not a belief, it's not happening for you.
So how do people then try and discover who they are?
How it happened for me? Every week I got a coach. Definitely by far the best thing I ever did. So I didn't know myself until I met Carl. And the first thing he would say to me every week, slow down. Stop. Slow down.
Take a breath.
Breathe. And then he started helping me get rid of my distractions. Get rid of this distraction distractions that aren't serving you. Things you're doing that aren't serving you. Eating bad food. Not doing exercise. In a job you hate. It's the ultimate distraction. So getting a coach and being guided, because it comes down to negative and positive thinking too.
Well, mate, that's exactly a really nice segue, actually. You must have read my notes. I
haven't read your notes.
Mate, because I've got here, you're often posting some great content on a daily basis. You're inspiring quotes and messages. I think I looked at one yesterday, which I loved. Yeah. One small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. Loved that. And then you've got, I think your background is something about trusting good vibes.
Yeah.
Mate.
That quote, when I posted that, was a deep quote for me. There's so much information behind that quote. And I really do, I showed you before, if you look at my phone, my whole phone is thousands and thousands of quotes. I'm saving them every chance I get. But that quote, vibes.
Yeah.
There's a gut feeling. You're in a your higher self, whatever it is, it's there.
So how important is it to try and carry that through your day or your life?
Trusting the vibes,
or having that positive outlook.
Vital. Well, it's like there's the thing called the Law of Polarity, right? You heard of it before?
No, I haven't.
It's one of the things I teach as a coach.
Right.
When you understand that there is a law of polarity. So, for example, there is a law of gravity, right? So every time I drop that phone, it's going to land in the same space at the same height, same time, and everyone can measure it and test it. Every person in the world can test it. For the next 4 billion years, it's going to be the same thing, same speed, same thing. It's going to always, gravity's going to take it down. Polarity is the law of opposites. So you can apply a law of up, down, back, forward, black, white. There's a whole bunch of stuff with polarity, right? But it also applies to your thoughts. This is the powerful part.
Yeah.
If you have a negative thought, there's always a corresponding positive thought.
Right.
It's a really powerful way to look at things. So knowing that there's a law of polarity, these are the universal laws that govern everything, that polarity says that you're having a negative thought, you can have a positive thought.
So there's always another way of looking at a situation.
Well, it's reframing anything, and then as a coach, you use, the power of words. So what you're telling yourself, movement, right? Listening to music, whatever it is to change your state. That's what you'll do. If I've got someone who's going through deep depression, I'll work a lot on them changing their state. Because Tony Robbins talks about it for years, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you're changing your state, like you can't be sad if you're smiling. You just practice smiling all day. You can't be sad because the way it does it, creates endorphins, et cetera, right? So, you're only one thought away from a better thought.
Wow, that's powerful.
But the problem is everyone I've coached was programmed with negativity, negative thoughts. Mum and dad didn't mean it. They just passed down their negative thoughts to you. Kids at school didn't mean it. They'll pass down from their kids. Some teacher, an uncle who was alcoholic, you come over when you're 5 years old, hey buddy, you're swearing in your ear. Little things. When you're in that sort of formative stage, when your frontal lobe hasn't been fully developed yet, your brain keeps growing until it's 25, I think, 21, 25. It's not developing, but, you learn all the negative stuff when you're young, but you're not aware of it.
It's like a sponge, isn't it? Yeah.
Sponge. And there's no gatekeeper saying, oh, I'm not going to agree that I'm not stupid. Some school teacher says, you're dumb klutz. So this happened to me.
Yeah.
I had a school teacher tell me I was a dumb klutz. I thought I was dumb for a long time.
Wow.
So that's a perfect example, right?
That's how powerful it can be.
That's how powerful it is. I had a school teacher and I was doing some lighting stuff at school, and because Adam, you dumb klutz, and he was angry at me. And I never touched the lighting again, right? Scared, like talking about being scared, scaring your soul.
Yeah.
And I thought I was dumb. So I literally wasn't at school. I was at school physically, but I missed school. I wasn't there mentally. I missed 110 days in year 10.
Wow.
For 3 days a week. Couldn't go.
Why is that?
Just
couldn't get there. Just
staying at home as well.
Yeah.
I was daydreaming all the time, and I'll be in class, and the teacher would say, and of course we couldn't afford books. Often sharing a book with someone next to me, I was embarrassed to do it, and so I just didn't turn up.
Wow.
I remember one time I was down the creek. I'll take off time, and I remember I was sort of lying down the creek, and I heard this noise over there. I looked up, and it was my brother doing the same thing.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all had it pretty.
Well, mate, you must be pretty proud to see where you are now, where you're coming, and we'll get through it because I've got so many more questions for you, mate. Mate, do you've touched on a little bit, in terms of the positivity, but and off air, which I'm happy to share, is which I was sort of inspired by, to be honest. You did a bit of a self-meditation before we started. Yeah. Do you have a morning routine?
Yes. It's the first thing I teach. The first thing I teach as a coach is a morning routine. Vital. It's the first thing Carl taught me. In fact, if I was to look back at the one thing that changed me the most, that Carl taught me, was meditation.
Really?
Yeah. Because, most of us are uncentered. Most of us aren't calm, centered, relaxed. My mantra is calm, centered, relaxed. I still use it since Carl taught me it. I'm calm, I'm centered, I'm relaxed. Because I've got an active mind. I haven't been diagnosed, but some people say I've got adult ADD.
Right. And
that's just not a bad thing. It's like it's a genius thing. I've got a million things going on. I think fast, I speak fast, I act fast. I'm able to do.
Constantly got lots of thoughts.
But I also need to be centered as well. To become a coach, I need to be centered. When I'm coaching someone, I'm slow, calm, centered, relaxed for them as well.
Do you have a constant theme in your life that you live by, Ads?
Remember, you did send me this question the other day. Not yes and no.
Right.
I have different themes.
Changes.
Yeah, so I do a 30-day challenge. One of the questions I ask is, let's create a theme. Usually it's letting go, loving yourself, whatever it is. But for me, since creating my theme, I have 6 months blocks.
Right.
So I remember at one point it was letting go.
So is that like setting yourself goals? Is that what you mean? Or
it kind of happens naturally for me. Like I might, I meditate into it every day. So, letting go of some traumas, letting go of my past, letting go of my attachment to things.
Is that what meditation does for you?
I do 2 types of meditation. One's a silent meditation where I just be. Dark room, eye things on, and I'll sit back and there's nothing. I'll let whatever comes in, and it takes ages to unscramble. Probably 25, 26 minutes in, you start being clear.
Yeah.
And they suggest you should do an hour in the morning, hour at night time, but it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
What were you saying? So the question was...
your constant theme in your life.
It's been so many. Happiness was... you know what? I have to say happiness. Okay, that's an overall theme. Wanting to be happy. Because I just remember not being happy a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, mate, it's powerful. Yeah. Mate, I just want to change tunes for a little bit, and we will get back to this stuff. But, mate, you grew up, like all of us in Melbourne, just loving sport. And
loved it.
In particular for you, it was basketball.
Yeah. Can
you take me through what role sport has also, or basketball's played in your life as well?
Oh, it's massive. It's a massive part of my life, and from camaraderie, connection to other guys, not having a father figure. My dad divorced when I was, 1, so he wasn't around much. So I didn't really have much of a father figure. So as soon as I was old enough, I threw myself into sport, and it happened to be basketball.
Yep.
Number 11, always. But yeah, a huge impact, confidence-wise, the ability to hold conversations with men. It was a huge part of it, and setting goals.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. And did the sport also help you find, just you discover yourself there? Because you said you had some struggles at school.
Yeah.
And then was that sport then also giving you something to look forward to or feel a part of?
Well, I mean, it got to the point where I lived and breathed it. Yeah, so I was doing martial arts 2 nights a week, football 2 nights a week, basketball twice a week, running every day, and doing gym every day as well.
Wow.
So I was from probably 15 to 20, and just before my 21st birthday, which is another thing that I thought I'd add in here, which really had a huge impact on me, was I overtrained and ended up going in the hospital for 6 months.
Really?
So they diagnosed me with multiple sclerosis.
Jeez.
But they didn't tell me. My mum knew, I think my sister knew, I think my whole family knew, I'm not sure, but they never told me. And then over a period of time, was sport was my aim out of that. I remember being in hospital. I was in the neurology ward at Austin Hospital, getting injections in my spine every couple of days, lighting me up with fluid. It wasn't a good time. But my basketball friends visited me often.
Yeah.
And I remember just saying to myself, I want to get back and finish the season and win the championship.
Yeah.
And so that was always something that sport got me through everything, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same, man. It got me through.
Absolutely.
Without it, and their friendships.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. I really think you found yourself as a life coach and as a mentor and a spiritual life coach. I think it really is your calling. Like you've always been great with people, energetic, positive. If Adam Edwards is spoken about, and this is the very last message anyone will ever hear, what do you want to be remembered for, Ads?
Has to be a life of service. I know that's the answer to my personal happiness. Yep. Until I started coaching, I never knew the kind of happiness that I would feel. After coaching someone, after you sit opposite someone for 2 hours and you help them organise their lives or their problems or help them see their trauma differently, it's the highest high I've ever felt. Forget alcohol, forget the other stuff. It's I'm exhausted, but it's a high that I usually go for a walk for a couple of hours after a phone call. Mate,
isn't that amazing? That's amazing because we always want and take, but it's often when we give, and for you, the service to others, that's giving you the most fulfillment and, as you just said, happiness.
I keep thinking about being at the bars and I love people. It's a big thing, right? I don't think you should be in coach unless you love people. You've got to love. I literally love people. I meet people every night at those bars. I would have 200 conversations a night, 2 nights a week. And my questions were always, I should plan my questions before I went in there. Another thing I should do, I'd be like, anything exciting in your life? What are you happy? What are you happy about? What's coming up that's cool? All those things. And most of the time, that's why I wanted to become a coach, because most people I'd say, anything exciting? They said no. Everyone was saying nothing's exciting. I said, what do you mean? And I go, and then I would say, hey, when's your birthday? Or what's going on next week? They go, I'm going away to Geelong. I said, is that exciting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. So people don't realise what's exciting and they lose the sight of the little things.
Right.
The journey, right?
Yeah, the journey.
I was excited about you coming here today. Really excited about it. I know you were too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just being excited again because, and this ties into happiness.
Yeah. Mate, what can you... What advice would you give? You've just mentioned serving others. What tips can you pass on to everyone listening and watching of how to create a better life for themselves? And maybe something that you teach as a coach.
Get a coach.
100%.
No, this is nothing to do with me, whether I coach you or not. Get a coach. Someone with experience, someone older, possibly that's had some life experience, someone who's, I'm not going to say like me, but someone who's... been there, done that, and has got something off, and some skills. I've got a certificate in coaching as well.
Yeah.
And then inevitably, it's always the same. The first thing I do with my clients is we go into beliefs. So once you can ascertain, because they'll say, you know, I hate myself. Okay, well, why? Why do you hate yourself? Where did it come from? So you've got to get back to the root of things.
It's stripping everything back, isn't it?
Well, it's like, you know, everything you learn, the meaning given to it was given to it by someone else. So everything you learn for those 7 years, or those 10 years, everything you learn, all the meaning for everything was given to you by someone else.
Wasn't you know, sort of discovered by yourself.
No.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. So when I said earlier that Carl tore me apart, mind, body, and spirit. When I say tore me apart, he ripped back the layers till I got to me. It was hard, man. It was really hard because you have to look at yourself.
And mate, credit to you, to be honest, because it's and I'm sort of going through this stage at the moment, just starting this podcast. Yeah. You know, working in sport my entire life is all I've ever known, and then now I've seen it with yourself. Completely switch careers, completely take a different direction, and obviously look how mate happy and and well you look at him.
Well, you know what, and what come up then was, and often when I'm coaching, I just get these thoughts come up. But you better stand for something, or you'll fall for anything.
Geez, that's a good one.
Right? If you don't stand for something, like I didn't stand for anything, so I fell into the nightclubs, fell into alcohol, fell into drugs, fell into all the stuff that, you know, better stand for something or fall for anything. This comes back to values.
Yeah.
Whoever looks at their values, what's your number? What's your top 5 values? So in my coaching, a huge list of values. They'll go through them and they'll pick the top 10. Then which out of those top 10, which are the top 5? Out of those top 5, top 3, then we go to 1. What's your number 1 value? If you live from that number 1 value, say it's health, then you'll do everything. Like for me, owning nightclubs. Health's number 1. You don't own nightclubs.
No.
I wouldn't have even gone there. And health was number 1 for me.
Mate, that's huge.
So a whole career of 20 years owning nightclubs, and health was number 1. So training and you know, get myself to a situation where I'd just destroy myself was like, you know, Groundhog Day. It really was.
Yeah.
So helping people get clear of their values is crazy because most people don't even know. I'll go, you know, just here, like wisdom, truth, spirituality, kindness, humour, giving back, financial, connection, collaboration, adventure, achievement, courage, excellence. What is it? Like drilling down, getting clear of the top 10. You just circle 10, ones that feel right to you, and then you go, okay, let's whittle it down to the number 1, or maybe the top 3.
That's a great message, and mate,
powerful.
So many things can be taken out of that. Mate, thanks so much for your time. We're leading on to the last couple of final questions now, and something I always ask all the guests. Mate, what are your 3 life lessons or pieces of advice that you've learnt along your journey, which has been a great one, that you would encourage others to follow their dreams? So 3 lessons in life that you would pass on.
Number 1, find your purpose. Your dharmic path, the reason you're here. Mark Twain, I said to you earlier, 2 most important days of your life, Mark Twain wrote in the 1800s. The 2 most important days of your life are the day you were born, the day you work out why. What are you here for? What are you here for?
Mate,
what's Adam Edwards meant to be doing? What's Chris Goodrow meant to be doing? What are you here for? That's number 1, big time.
Love it.
2, peace. Find peace. And I don't think you can get that peace until you get the fulfillment of being on your purpose, tied in together. And the 3rd one would be happiness. Purpose, peace, happiness. And you're not going to get peace and happiness until you... No, actually, you're not going to... You know what? Actually, I'll just rejig this. Peace is the key. So my goal, my number 1 value right now used to be, what I said before, what was it? Health. It's now peace.
Right.
Because of, you know, this brain I've been given, and I tend to, you know, not focus well, and you know, it's constant. Like I'm still taking in too much, but peace is where I get, like the meditation I did earlier. Yeah. Like before almost everything. I'll go into the bedroom after this. I'll probably do a half an hour.
Well, mate, like you said, when it's your value, you make time for it, don't you? And you live by it.
Purpose, peace, happiness. Get your purpose. Purpose. What are you born to do? What would you do for the rest of your life? What would you do the rest of your life you wouldn't have to get paid for? What would you do for the rest of your life? What would you do? What would you do that got you out of bed in the morning, excited and happy about being there? When I was in those nightclubs, dreaded those last 5 years, miserable, depressing, dread, like having to ring my wife before going into the club. I can't do this. I can't deal with another person. I can't deal with the energy drainers. I can't deal with drinking and coming home at 5 in the morning and being exhausted again and having to do it the next day and having to have a couple of drinks just to get back into the bar again. Madness. So purpose, peace, and then peace leads to happiness.
Mate, unreal. Mate, I just want to acknowledge your ads. I think, mate, for sharing your story today, to be able to transform your life, as you said before, shift your direction and dedicate it to serving others and improving their quality of life, mate. I just think it's, it's outstanding. And you do it with so much positivity and enthusiasm. And mate, you talked about the vibe. I'm vibing now. I'm bouncing off the walls. But mate, thanks so much again for coming on the show. Where can people find you? You've got a website, your socials. AdamEdwards.co. Yep.
So I'm just there. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm everywhere pretty much, and always posting positive stuff. And something I should say about the positive stuff, the stuff that I post, and this is once again feeling like your calling. So my calling is to be a coach. I know it's my calling. And so when I post stuff, I'm called to it. So I might read 20 quotes and go, that one feels right. And because what happens in that space, a story comes up.
All right, connect with it.
So it's guided.
Yeah.
Everything I do, that's once again finding peace. Once you get to the place where you're calm and centered, you're not going to find your purpose too, by the way, until you get calm and centered and you remove all the distractions.
Yep.
And ask yourself the question. I send to my clients all the time. Here's 20 videos on how to find your purpose. Listen to all of them and get a feeling for what purpose is. Oh, okay. I have a divine calling. I'm here for a reason. And what's something you do you don't have to retire for? I was saying, like, I knew my wife. I said, I'm not going to be in the clubs when I'm 50. I didn't want to be in the club till I was 50, so I knew there was a period I need to retrain. I had 3.5, 4 years to retrain my everything, and move to a place where I was on purpose. Yeah. Now I can do this as a coach. It's going to take me, I'm 18 months into being a professional coach. It's going to take me another 8 years to become into mastery. Once you're in mastery, you can serve people much faster. You can serve more people. It's all about serving more people. Yeah. Yeah, mate, that's just exactly. And that's serve, and that's where happiness is. Mate, final question. What's your definition of success? Well, I was listening to Earl Nightingale this morning, and he said, what did he say? Having a worthy goal. But for me, the definition of success is, it's from, what's his name? Tony Robbins. Doing what you want, when you want, as often as you want, with who you want, while making a difference to other people's lives. Mate, love it. And one other thing I just want to say, which is I didn't get the chance to talk about this, was the 3 Gs. And what really changed me, it's really important, and it can go to the 4 Gs, but I'll go with the 3 Gs. When Carl, my coach, taught me the 3 Gs, I had a click, everything changed. He said to apply this. It's got to be good for you. It's got to be good for others. It's got to be good for the greater good, right? So when he said, apply that to the nightclubs, was it good for me? No. Was it good for others? Getting people drunk, is that good for others? Is it good for the greater good? So, and is it good for your legacy? So maybe 4 Gs. But I applied that to coaching. Good for me? F yes. Good for others? Hell yes, good for the greater good. And so moving to life of service, you have to answer those 3 questions. The 3 Gs of life. Once you get those 3, apply to anything you're doing. If any of them are no, then you're on the wrong path. Mate, you're a legend. Hey? Thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Well done. Thanks, Ads. Thanks, brother. Outstanding. Wow, what a timely and powerful episode that was with spiritual life coach Adam Edwards. Adam discussed how to look for inner peace, and discovering your purpose is what will lead to your happiness. He emphasised the importance of becoming really clear on what is important to you and defining what your values are. But how about this one to finish up on? You need to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. I loved it, guys, and I hope you did too. And just a reminder, guys, if you enjoyed this episode today, please share it with your friends. Tag me on Instagram and subscribe to Apple iTunes and Spotify accounts so you don't miss an episode. Until next time, you guys know what to do. Get out there, face those fears, and live those dreams. You'll be okay.